All right, we now have the third film from Mr. Writer-Director Jordan Peele. First we had Get Out. Second we had Us. And this third one, is it the best of the three? Well, let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my Note movie review. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me that thumbs up and consider subscribing. All right, guys, like I said, this is Jordan Peele's third film. First was Get Out. I love that film. That was damn near perfect for me. It's possibly one of the better films that I've seen in my entire life. Maybe top 100, top 150. I really have to sit down and think about it, but it is up there. Now, when it comes to Us, my expectations were through the roof. I thought this was going to be the best thing since sliced bread, and when those credits hit, I was highly disappointed with that film. I didn't think it was garbage. I didn't think it was trash or just a horrible movie, but there were just so many things that was not explained thoroughly to me, in my opinion, which left a sour taste in my mouth. I even watched a ton of spoiler reviews and Ender explains and everything, and he just did not do the best job with connecting all the dots. Now we have Nope. This film right here, Not of Planet Earth, a lot of people were speculating that that is the acronym of the title when the trailer first hit, and this did look exciting. I mean, I'm a big fan of Daniel Kaluuya, also of Keke Palmer. I do like Stephen Young. He first popped on the scene for me back in The Walking Dead, and so you have that with Jordan Peele writing and directing it. You also have Hoyt van Hoytema, who is the cinematographer of this film. This dude right here has a lot of great titles up under his belt. If you see these, Tenet, Interstellar, Dunkirk, all three of those films have something in common. Christopher Nolan was the director of those, and he is the king of IMAX. And yes, a lot of this film right here, Nope, that is directed by Jordan Peele, was shot with IMAX cameras. And if you subscribe to my channel, you know I love me a great IMAX shot. And so I'm really rooting for Mr. Jordan Peele right here. If you don't know, like I said, Get Out, Us. He's also an actor right here with his other homeboy who y'all already know as well. And so Jordan Peele also said that King Kong, Jurassic Park, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Signs, and The Wizard of Oz as the film's influences. Now, I've seen all those movies except for Close Encounters, but when I really think about it, the only way I can see how that relates is with Signs. Every other film that he mentioned, I don't see how that influenced this after viewing the film. But hey, it is what it is. And if he says that's influenced him, I'm not going to argue with him. And I wanted to keep my expectations high, you know, because I liked everyone involved with this film. But, you know, past experiences told me that I do have to keep them low. And I went into this just wanting the best experiences possible, especially with it being on my birthday when I saw this. But before I get into all the nitty gritty, all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what this film is all about. The residents of a lonely gulch in inland California bear witness to an uncanny and chilling discovery. Now, one of the first things that I loved about this film was the acting, the performances from the cast. I thought that was all well performed. Even though his screen time is not a lot in this film, Keith David did have a prominent role in my opinion. And how do you not love Keith David? I mean, everything about him. And then he has that voice that's just so distinguishable from everybody else. I love Keith David, and I loved him in this movie too. And also Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer as OJ and Emerald Haywood. They play brothers and sisters in this film, and I really did love their relationship, all the banter and back and forth that they had between each other. They really had an interesting sibling rivalry, and I did respect the relationship, and also can just tell that they loved each other dearly, even if they just didn't agree with each other all the time. I liked their form of communication, and I thought it was effective with us, an audience member, trying to buy their relationship on screen. And when it comes to the characters more specifically, I really did like OJ, played by Daniel Kaluuya. He's going through a lot right now, and he's mourning, and you can just tell that he's counting the seconds as they pass along each day, and he's really trying to fight these demons that he has brewing up inside of him. It is very obvious that it is so important to him to uphold his father's legacy and everything that he built, and I respect his character wholeheartedly for that. I felt sorry for this man and felt his pain, and I just wanted the best for him, and I felt he deserved it. And I really did like Keke Palmer's character when she was first introduced to the film. I mean, she was bold, she was filled with a lot of energy, and seemed like a really cool person that I would love to hang out with. I even liked her hair with it somewhat looking like mine. But when the film progressed on, that opinion of mine changed slightly, and I'll get to that later on in this review. Another thing about this film is it doesn't take too long to get to the aliens, because you know that there is something flying around in the sky or in the clouds. They do address that early on, and that was a surprise to me. And there is also a great sense of tension and suspense when the aliens do show up, not knowing exactly what they could possibly look like, when they're hovering over a certain building or structure, or there's some creepy music in the background with some disformed figure poking around the corner and you're just salivating at the mouth like, what in the hell is that? What's about to pop out right now? I did like that. It was very entertaining, and it did get the audience going when I saw the movie. Now, I was not laughing as hard as everybody else in the theater. There were other people that found a number of the jokes much funnier than I did. However, there were a number of moments that were filled with laughter and joy, to where I did chuckle to myself laughing at the reaction of some of the characters given the current situation that they were in. I was saying to myself, yeah, if I was in that situation, I would probably react or say the exact same thing. And of course, a lot of you are probably wanting to see this movie like, oh, the characters are gonna be like, nope, 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 and run away like, I don't wanna be a part of that. Get the hell away from me. Of course, it would be disappointing if that wasn't in the movie. And of course, I also like the Shroud of Misery. While they do introduce the aliens and address that early on in the film, I mean, it's still a big shroud of mystery of you trying to figure out what the hell is going on. There was a number of times to where I did lean forward in my chair, putting my hand on my chin like this, just trying to look, okay, what's going on? Like, how's this all working out? Let me try to figure out all the clues. And if the film can do that and get me engaged, I mean, that's just something that I really enjoy, and I want to be a part of as much as possible as an audience member. Now, I am not just a big connoisseur and fan of old school Westerns. However, I find absolutely nothing wrong with them. I mean, I don't. I mean, if you love Westerns, that's what's up. You love more Westerns, more power to you. But while I was watching this film, especially towards the end, there are a ton of reminders and just those themes of old classic Westerns, especially when it comes to the score and soundtrack of this movie. I mean, I just felt those vibes all over my body in the third act of this film, and I'm not even familiar with Westerns like that. So if you are, I think there is a nice treat for you at the end that you'll really, really appreciate. And also, I want to thank Universal for giving me the opportunity to see this film early. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And this film was shot with IMAX cameras. However, when I see these in Dallas, the IMAX theater that they usually show them at is not a true IMAX theater. It's LIMAX. I mean, it has the sound and the picture quality, but the screen is not as big as it should, as it was designed. And so I was still able to enjoy some of the aspect ratio, especially at the end. I wish it was at a real IMAX theater with the 65 or 70 millimeter frame. However, there was a shot towards the end of this film where there's a certain character riding a bike, and it was just magical. I mean, even if it was just short, and I wish it was longer, it was just still great. And when I was watching, I was like, man, damn it, this is what I come to the movies for. Even though this movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes long, it was just something about that 20 to 25 second shot that did something for me, and I absolutely loved it. And so if you are an IMAX fan, there are a number of shots in this film that will stand out to you. It's not the greatest IMAX movie, but it is different from your standard 239:1 aspect ratio. And if you didn't know, that's the widescreen with the black bars at the top and bottom when you're watching it at home. I also like the deductive reasoning that went down between all the characters. I mean, they're trying to figure out how this works, how they can possibly defeat the alien or get pictures. I mean, you've seen the trailer, and that was fun. I mean, it challenged you to think, it challenged you to study, and that's just something that we should all be doing anyway as human beings. And it's also like I said, the suspense. I didn't know who would possibly live or who would die. I mean, I was kind of scared, like, oh my gosh, I want everybody to make it, whether they do or not. Of course, I'm not going to say anything here. You just have to watch the film for yourself. But that part was at least entertaining. All right, guys, those are some of the things that I really did like about the film, but now let me transfer over to things that I really didn't care for in the movie. Now, I did say earlier that the film does not take a long time to address the elephant in the room, that there are aliens flying around in the sky. However, the first half of this movie was still extremely slow to me. I mean, it's not to the point where you just like bored out of your mind, like, oh my gosh, I want to go home. But I was saying to myself, they need to pick this up a lot because it's just, they're not doing a decent job with connecting all the dots. Now, the second half of the film did pick up a bit, especially with the pace, but that first half did drag, and it did put a sour taste in my mouth, and they need to do something about that. The next thing that I really didn't care for is the editing in this movie when he was trying to transition from certain chapters in his movie into the next one. I don't want you to make the whole screen black and put a title up there like Lucky or Gordon. Just like telling the next chapter in the film. That was extremely jarring to me, and the first time he did it, I was like, oh my God, please do not chapter this movie up. I do not like when directors do that, because I mean, it can be done effectively, but in my opinion, every time I see it, it really does kill the pacing and just makes it a daunting task. Like, okay, oh my God, how many more chapters do we have to get through in this movie? And that's not a good thing either, because like I said at the very beginning, the first half of this movie, it did drag a little bit, taking this long ass time to get something going. Towards the end of this film, to where I praise of how they're trying to execute a plan of success, before we get to that point, I feel like there was a lot of dialogue left on the cutting room floor to make all of this make sense, to why these characters would be on board trying to help each other. One character in particular that comes to mind is Angel, who is in the trailers. He is the Fry's electronics guy. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I was not paying attention, and I do plan on going to go see this film for a second time. And if I missed it, okay, hey, I'm pretty sure you guys will rip me up in the comments, but I just don't understand how much availability he had in his life to give it to some distant strangers out in the wilderness to help them with their video equipment. I mean, he was just too much involved in this whole scenario, and there just wasn't enough backstory, in my opinion, to explain why he knew so much about the situation, especially when certain characters didn't want to talk to him about it. I don't know, that just kind of flew over my head, and it really did not seem like a realistic situation between characters that would take place in life. Also, earlier in this review, when I talked about Keke Palmer's character and how I liked her in the beginning, once we got to know her a little bit further, she came across a bit annoying to me and had some false sense of confidence. Now, me in real life, I use profanity from time to time. I may not use it that much in my videos, but sometimes I am called out about it. But profanity in general does not offend me. If I hear somebody say a cuss word, whether in a movie, TV, or in real life, it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, you have to be in the right situation. But one of the things that really does bother me is when people use profanity and it does not come out naturally. It does not come out organically. It feels like you're trying to sound cool and impress your peers around you. That's exactly how I felt about Keke Palmer's character, Emerald. Every time she used a cuss word or profanity, it just didn't seem natural or organic. Like I said, it just seemed like she was just trying to be cool. And I'm just like, why are you acting like this? It's not even like, you're not in high school. It's not like, you know, there's some boy over here that you're trying to impress. I mean, you're in front of your sibling, and it just didn't come across naturally to me. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way too. I mean, there were just a few instances in this movie where I wanted to be like, stop it, be quiet, calm down. You're doing too much. However, I'm not just gonna bash her. She still did give a great performance, and I was able to sympathize with her a bit towards the end of the movie when it came to her acting, because she was frightened. And guys, there are certain aspects that the story focuses on this film a lot. And I was just saying to myself, wow, they keep on hinting at this particular scene right here between this particular incident, and I cannot wait to see how this circles back around and ties into the overall story. I don't think they did a good job there. I was saying to myself, what was the point of this when the film ended? It was a sad scene. It was tragic. And it was actually very uncomfortable to watch. I kind of see where Jordan Peele was trying to go with this, but again, he just did not do a great job at connecting the dots and make it stand out or show its significance. It was an important scene for one character and molded them into who they are today, but it just didn't tie into anything else the way I thought it should. And that's disappointing. And guys, there are a lot of themes in this film about human beings trying to take control and tame the beast and the relationship with animals, etc. I liked all that, I did. But in the end, they still could have fleshed it out a bit more to make it all make more sense. And also towards the end, guys, I mean, it still was a bit anticlimactic for me. I wanted a bit more, but wasn't entirely disappointed at the same time because I knew where to keep my expectations. So overall, guys, this was a good film. I did not love it, but it was a good film to okay, and I do plan on seeing it again. If I had to rank Jordan Peele's films, I would put Get Out, of course, on top. I will put Nope second, and then I will put Us in third place. And I'll go ahead and give my rating for this at the very, very end of the video. But for now, guys, that is just my opinion, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did like this video, please go ahead and give me that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, helping me reach my next large milestone of 40,000 subscribers. And the reasons why you will want to subscribe to my channel, guys, is I have movie reviews, spoiler movie reviews, also a weekly movie news roundup show. I currently also talk about my favorite TV shows that are streaming right now, which is P-Valley. Not my favorite show, but it is a show that I'm covering right now. Breakdown of every topic that I have on my movie news roundup show. And of course, I got my fresh out of theater reactions, got some trailer reactions, and also interviews down here. And here's just a further breakdown of all the great content that you can get on my channel. Just look at how beautiful that is. You know you want it. It's free. I even ranked all 29 MCU films right there with Thor, Love, and Thunder. So if I had to rate Nope out of a 1 out of 10, I would give this film a 7 out of 10. Yes, a 7 out of 10. That rating may change when I do my spoilers movie review with Tyra with Reviewz TV, but make sure you subscribe to both our channels and come back and check out that video. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.